Welcome to the channel. My name is Coach and I'm your go-to source for everything relating to NXT. And tonight we're looking at what happened on this week's episode of NXT, and boy do I tell you, this was a jam-packed episode of NXT. Usually if NXT has a hot episode like last week, they cool down the next week, but they followed it up from last week. The night was incredible and it's building up perfectly to the first episode of CW. So let's look at what happened. The show started off with a bang, instantly getting into some action. We had the NXT Tag Team Championships being defended by Fraxium against Street Profits from the main roster. And man, I always forget how big Montez Ford always is, because he doesn't usually look big, or when you think of him, but like the dude is massive, the dude is built. And you know, I always want this Montez Ford singles run, but it never happens because then Angelo Dawkins has no use to the WWE. So they always keep him as a tag team, but what if we send Montez Ford down to NXT, give him a singles run here, and keep the Street Profits on the main roster? That way you get the best of both worlds. Unfortunately tonight the Street Profits couldn't pull it off. They were close to a victory, but the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa all attacked, laid out the Street Profits, and that's how this match ended. It was cool seeing the Bloodline here tonight on NXT. I would like to see something more go on here other than just a single segment. But for what it was really cool, really unexpected, and I loved it. And we followed this up with another big match, Julia's first NXT match going up against Chelsea Green. A lot of main roster stars on tonight's NXT, but it was fine, it didn't bother me a lot. But I like this, Chelsea Green really knows how to sell, and she made Julia look really good. And again, Julia's whole entrance to presentation, everything makes her look like a star. I do 100% believe she's going to take that Women's Championship from Roxanne Perez on the first episode of CW. And you gotta respect Chelsea Green for not being selfish. She made Julia look like a star. We all know Julia is a star, but like the people who don't know her, this was an amazing first match, amazing first impression. I'm really excited to see where they go with her. And especially with Stephanie Vaquer, rumored to be in Orlando now coming soon. The women's division is gonna be incredible for the foreseeable future here in NXT. Lexis King is backstage, he's getting his beard shaved and showing us some clips of TikTok from his fans, and then he gets attacked by Oro Mensah. I don't really care about this. I think this feud should be done and dusted with. It's not very entertaining. Oro Mensah isn't really clicking as a babyface. We need to try something different with him. And we also go backstage, Galani Jordan is arriving, she's helping Lola Vice, and then Fatal Influence comes up and they have a bit of a squabble. Yeah, we're definitely getting Lola Vice, Galani Jordan and Jada Parker versus Fatal Influence soon. Galani Jordan might not be in it, I think she's up for debate, but it's probably going to be a mix of that team versus Fatal Influence soon. Next we have the Heritage Cup match between Javon Evans and Charlie Dempsey, and I'm just going to go on a bit of a rant here. Javon Evans needs to start limiting himself, because I know he's bouncy, that's his whole gimmick, but every time the dude makes those jumps to the outside of the ring, I generally hold my breath because he gets so close to really badly hurting himself. Like, he doesn't hit the spot right like he should. So he should really work on that. NXT should really limit him, because if he keeps doing what he's doing, it's only going to be a matter of time before he really injures himself. I mean, just look at this match. He was so close to really badly injuring himself, but he didn't, thankfully. But we should really start limiting him. And the Heritage Cup match in general, I don't like the format of it. It makes both members look weak. It's always going to be one person gets to fall, the other person gets to fall, and then the winner ends up getting it. Like, both members always take the pin. It makes someone look weak. I don't like this whole format. If it was a 2 out of 3 falls match, it would be a lot better. But this whole format, it's stop-start, it's just not for me. But at the end of the day, I'm glad Charlie Dempsey retained. Javon Evans doesn't need this right now. Charlie Dempsey needs this a lot more. And Tavion Heights returned, cost Javon Evans the match. I'm excited to see where this whole story goes. But I'm glad Tavion Heights is back. He was so cool in this faction. Having him back is going to make them a lot better. Next we have Obafemi facing the opponent of Tony D'Angelo's choosing, and it was Alexander Hammerstone, or just Hammerstone. He's from TNA, and wow, I was not expecting this. I didn't really have any expectations, but Hammerstone, he was probably on the bottom of my list. But he had a good showing. I really liked his opinion. Both big meaty men fighting each other. You just love to see it. And if you didn't know, Hammerstone is on a 1-year deal with TNA. It's basically just an exhibition deal, and he looked really impressive here. I love how he looks on NXT in this whole environment. I would like to see NXT give him a try, WWE give him a try here in NXT, see what they can make of him. I know he has some controversy about steroids and stuff, but I think we can look past that or figure it out. At the end of the day, I think he would be really good here in NXT. But as expected, Obafemi wins, he holds the championship. Probably gonna see him versus Tony D'Angelo on the first episode of CW. but I don't care because that's a really big match and this feud has gotten much more interesting over time. Ridge Holland faces Duke Hudson in a quick short match. I really love this new presentation of Ridge Holland. He looks really cool, but I'm still not very into this whole thing. I don't think they should have split up JCU, just my opinion, and I don't really care about this feud anymore. It's just not a very hot feud for me. Ridge Holland absolutely destroys Duke Hudson. Thea Hell is there screaming. It was fine. I don't know what the end goal is with this. I don't know what we're gonna do with Ridge Holland after this. It seemed like he had a really nice story going with his redemption with JCU, and now as a bad guy, I don't see a very bright future for him, honestly. As we get ready for the next match, Wesley comes up to the commentary table, rips off Vic Joseph's headset, and says we all know why the Rascals weren't there tonight. He attacked Trey Miguel, and on the first episode of CW, he wants to put an end to this with Zachary Wentz. And I'm really excited for this. I hope the match is for the X Division Championship. That would be super cool. But we're probably going to have Wesley win, so it's probably not going to be for the X Division Championship. But still a cool pipe dream. Then we have the Knockouts Open Challenge by Jordynne Grace, and Sol Ruka accepts. This was really nice. We haven't seen much of Sol Ruka in the last while, so seeing her back here, it was really fun, and the two of them meshed really well together. This was a really fun match. I liked the chemistry between the two. I would like to see these two have an actual full-on match instead of just a match that ended in no disqualification, because before the match ended, Wendy Chu and Rosemary, this new unholy union you might say, attacked them. And Wendy Chu and Rosemary stood tall, and now we're getting Wendy Chu versus Jordynne Grace for the Knockouts Championship at Victory Road, I believe. It's gonna be a fun match. I'm really excited for this one, but I still don't think the build was there. Like, NXT in particular over the last while, they have very short builds to their matches, and I don't enjoy it. And this match felt like it was built in what, 2-3 weeks? Not even, definitely not 2 or 3 weeks. I think we started building towards this last week. So I don't know. I'm not excited for this match in particular. It's gonna be a good match, don't get me wrong. It's just there's not the hype, there's not the build. But what I am excited for is Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley. They had this thing backstage, having a bit of a squabble, just getting us back into this Do Ever For God. And I really like this. You know, Lyra Valkyria is my favorite women's wrestler in the whole world, and Tatum Paxley is really cool. I love this tag team. And Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are going to be on the first episode of CW. This was announced tonight. So you know what? We should get a Women's Tag Team Championship match between these two teams. That would be really cool. In the main event, we had Pete Dunne versus Trick Williams in a last man standing match. The winner goes on to the first episode of CW to face Ethan Page for the NXT Championship. I feel like I've said CW a lot, but that's what the next few shows are going to be all about, building up to that CW show. And Trick Williams won. It was a good match. It wasn't very hardcore, but I think it's rare to see these types of matches with a stipulation not be extremely hardcore. You had a few spots with like weapons and stuff, but it wasn't very much. It was for the most part just a big brawl. But it was fun, and Trick Williams winning, he's probably going to take back his NXT Championship. I think that's a very good decision. He is the most over star on NXT, and going into new network, you want someone who can represent the company. Ethan Page was never going to be on NXT for long. He always felt like a person that he was just put there so he can get used to the style, they can see what they have with him, and then send him up to the main roster. I think that's what's going to happen soon. He's probably going to be there for the Netflix debut of Raw. That's what I'm expecting. So now, as I do on the end of each of these videos, I give the show ranking, and tonight's episode was another 10 out of 10. They just keep building this momentum. Very excited for what's to come on the CW. Very excited for what the future of NXT has told, because there's a lot going on, and I just enjoy NXT right now. It is back, and if you enjoy NXT, I cover it weekly, so leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I would very much appreciate it. Let's get to 100 subscribers before NXT moves to the CW, and I love you all. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you again soon.